He
Yeah.
goes, mate, I've written you a scene, a real comedy scene, mate. And I want you to do it. I hope they keep it in. I hope they do. I'm like, it's your show. Who is they? Your name is like second, I think. Like, what? But he had made me laugh just telling me that he wrote one. And
Nerd Reactor, roll out.
Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
of course, glad to see you, Ashley.
And we're in a very exciting week. Abbott season 5 just started on Wednesday.
Yes, indeed. A wonderful opener, if I do say so myself. First time I've had a bit of a scoop, and I'm just happy to be affiliated at all with that show.
Well, for anyone who doesn't know, which is probably everyone except me and you, we met. It's kind of a funny story. I was touring the Gilmore Girls set back in December 2024, and you were touring it as well.
With the whole family.
Yeah,
My family, my brother, his wife, my wife's family, my sister, my kid. Yeah, I thought Stars Hollow would be a nice treat for everybody since we all grew up on the show.
yeah. Did they love it? What was everyone's reaction to the whole experience?
Well, I tried to keep it a secret from them, and like I wanted them to be surprised, but my brother and sister were like, okay, well, if he's telling us to get dressed all cute for photos, we're probably going to work, because I work on the same lot for
Yeah,
Shrinking. And they kind of like figured it out, but let me enjoy the surprise. But I did tell them, and this was true, that all the tickets were sold out by the time I had tried to
they
get some
were. They were.
out really quickly. But I had just started working with Shelter PR, shout out with them, and those people make stuff happen. So I was like, yo, is there any way I can like ask? And they were like, don't worry about it. I was like, yo, I mean, I just want to see if they got room for my family. They were like, don't worry about it. And then they hit me up a week later and they were like, here's the tickets for you and your fam. It was
It's
lovely. And then
amazing.
you and I got to meet it was in, I
In
think,
the Dragonfly,
Dragonfly Inn. That's right.
I was sitting on the couch and I was like, what? Because I had just watched this Shrinking season 2 finale, literally maybe the day before that or the week before that. Season 2 had just ended. I was like, I would know that man anywhere.
Yeah, that's so cool. And also fun fact, Sean Mitchell's house is actually Lorelai's house.
You told me
So,
that when we were chatting. I had no idea. My
oh yeah,
mind was
that's
blown.
right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know either until I went there, because when I first went, it was all dressed up in Sean's family's. They had
yeah.
like Sean's military pictures on the wall and family photos. And I didn't know until I went back where I was like, I shot here.
And when I went back and watched Shrinking again, which I've watched it multiple times at this point, I was like, how did I not realize that was her house? Because Gilmore Girls is the show I've watched the most on constant loop for 25 years.
Same. Yeah, I didn't know either. But that lot is fantastic. So it makes shout out to all the set directors and the production designers, because they really turn those areas into actors themselves. They're pretty transformative.
And I was so locked into just visiting Gilmore Girls that I had no idea that Shrinking was filming there, that Abbott was filming there. And I got there and I was like, all my favorite shows film in the same place. How did I not know this? It was the best day of my life.
Yeah, same. Like I keep learning about more things. I saw Noah Wiley walking around at work, and I was like, "What is he doing
For
here?"
the pit,
And I
right?
turned the
Yeah.
corner. I was like, "The pit shoots here too. What doesn't shoot here?" Superman. It's a WB property. It's a really cool. For me, that's like my Disneyland, my Disney World kind of thing. I'm just a cinephile and
That was
fantasy.
what I said. I was like, I feel like I'm at Epcot, like visiting all
Exactly.
the little stores and restaurants and being in Stars Hollow. That was how I felt.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. And shout out to Epcot too. That's an underrated park. When I was a kid, I was like, "We ain't got no roller coasters." And then at my age, I was like, "Epcot is exquisite,
Oh
just
yeah.
as a park experience overall." Yeah,
Um, well, I want to talk about Shrinking, but last thing about Gilmore Girls. When we chatted, you told me that your favorite season was A Year in the Life. Is that still the case?
yeah. I think they did something in terms of a comeback or reboot that I hadn't really seen. I love the nostalgia of seasons 1 through, is it seven? Seven total
One
seasons?
through seven, but seven was a different creator because Amy had left at that point.
Oh, I didn't actually know that fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 1 through 7, but there was something about A Year in the Life that felt responsible. it was like, we're going to talk about real stuff now. I love the season transitions, but to me, it was like, if this story is going to be kind of open-ended where it left off on season 7, I would love if the characters would take some sort of accountability. Because look, I love the girls, okay? But they messy. All right? Messy, messy, messy.
Oh,
All
yeah.
of them is messy. But when I watched The Year in Life, there was a lot of reality checks that felt satisfying for me. Art and think it would be great if all the characters learn a lesson. That's not how I consume art. However, if I see all the characters learn lessons, my response is that's great. So when I watched The Year in the Life, I was like, it's the first like sort of reboot. I felt like I kind of have needed all these years.
Absolutely. And I feel like it kicked off reboot culture almost in a way. And I can't believe it's been 10 years since that.
10 years since the reboot?
The reboot was in 2016. Can you believe that?
That's why you might be right. Because look, we got Scrubs coming back. We got there's some what was the one with Kathy Bates? That whole reboot.
There have been so many reboots. Yes, Matlock.
Yeah,
Yes.
Matlock's coming back. You're
Yeah,
right.
everything's
Quite a
coming
lot
back.
that have come back now.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this year is the 25th year of Gilmore Girls, so really just amazing time to celebrate the show.
Quarter century, man. It's weird to think about me coming home and doing homework and seeing that on the TV. And now, like, I'm looking at my daughter and be like, you ain't watching that. You ain't watching that till you like 17.
How old is your daughter?
She just turned 2.
Oh, yeah, a little young.
Yeah, a little young for the messy Gilmores. But hey, listen, those are my girls, man. I love them. The way they talk, the quick-witted banter. It's my favorite thing.
Okay, so moving on to Shrinking, because I could talk about Gilmore Girls for hours if I don't stop myself. How does it feel just knowing how beloved the show has become and just how desperately people are waiting for season 3?
It feels like an honor. To me, I feel like Shrinking is a sort of unique project in that it's trying to do 2 things at once, and the creative team is doing them both well. That doesn't happen all the time. And that doesn't reflect poorly on the creatives either. You try to do 2 jobs, it can split the audience. It can split the other artists on the show. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Is this sad or is this happy? But there's this true warmth and sentimentality and joy that Shrinking toes the line of. And that is so reflective of real life. And I think that's why it's so beloved. The fact that when people bump into me and have seen the show, they look at me and see I'm very jubilant and then kind of think, well, that makes sense, even though I play the angry guy. It was as if the casting directors are exceptional at their job and knew if we're going to task a performer with the responsibility of playing someone angry, they have to have some stream of hope in them. I'm one of the happiest people I've ever met. So the way that they picked up on that, and that's just one example with me, the way that they plucked Lukita out and gave Alice such a maturity, yet a youthful curiosity.
She blows me away with every scene.
Every time,
oh my God.
every scene, you know. Jessica Williams, I don't have to do much but say her name. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when I look at people's response to the show, it's always a response to the fact that it toes the line between this dark comedy and this warm, sentimental comedy. And that I think people just have been wanting to see.
Yeah, there's really no other show that gives you both so equally and so perfectly that I can think of in recent times, at least.
I agree. We got that on lock. You know, there may be some more shows out there with more laughs per scene. There may be some more shows out there with more tears per scene. But I don't think there's anyone out there who's got both, like right one on top of the other. You could be crying at the top of one scene and falling over laughing at the end of it.
And I have to say, and hopefully when season 3 comes out, I'll get to talk to Krista. Her work as a music supervisor is some of the most incredible work I've ever seen. And I think that people don't even know about that or recognize that enough.
She takes her job very seriously. In the trailer, I hear her listening to music quite a bit. And at first I thought it was just a vibe thing, but she's at work. So when she's getting her hair done, she's always cycling through songs that she feels will carry the emotional weight of the scenes that they're going to be put in. And I find that the music she chooses kind of ushers along the emotion that the audience or viewer might be feeling into a sort of like into this sort of communal space. There might be some things that have a certain tinge or emotion to it that might be unique to the viewer, but when the music is, it's almost an objective collaboration where this is putting you in the direction of this is hilarious, this is putting you in the direction of this is sentimental, and we all kind of have a more shared experience due to her choices.
Absolutely. And for me, it's just as a viewer, it's like I'm waiting to hear what song comes next as much as I'm waiting to see what's going to happen in the show. It's just such a great part of it. So when the role first came into your life and you auditioned and everything, how did the role find you? And did you know who else was on board, or kind of how did that come together?
Oh, good question. Thinking back to the start, it feels like a while ago now, which is insane. But yeah, when I first got the audition, it was 2022. It was about February, and I called my pal Esteban, who's one of my good comedy actor friends. He's just good at comedy. He's got that bone. He's like a Colombian Jack Black, is how I describe him. He can
Okay.
sing, he can dance, he's funny, he can do it all. So I called him. I was like, I need you to be my reader and you're Jason Segel as a therapist. Like, got it. All right. I send him the script. He comes over. We workshop it pretty hard. At the time, I don't know how my reps have been doing this, but I had like 4 to 5 auditions a week. It was like a
Yeah.
hefty time. So I was a little warm and I felt confident that if I gave this a little bit more than I've been given some of the maybe co-stars or guest stars I had been viewing for, I would be able to get a callback. Esteban did his Jason Segel as a therapist, and we worked our beats out. I sent the tape in, and then I got my first callback. And then I got to work with the casting directors, and they gave me a couple of adjustments. After that, then I do a chemistry read with Jason, and then we're workshopping. And this dude is like, through Zoom, I can feel him. I got this thing. It's kind of my secret for Sean, but it's fine. I'm comfortable sharing it. People might have seen it if they care. But I try to like make Sean somebody who only meets people's gaze in very specific times. And during that read, I could see Jason on the screen like chasing my eyes. I was like, he knows what I'm doing. And he's like trying to insert himself through the screen into my performance. And it's working. I was like, man, this feels good. I hope they like it. I feel like I have chemistry with this dude. And then come to find out that they did like it, and I ended up getting the part. But one of my favorite parts was they brought me in to do the chemistry read for Alice's. So everybody who was reading for Alice, and it was pretty apparent who now look, when you get to that point, everybody's brilliant. Everybody's so good. There's so many great performers. A couple I could name too who were exceptional, but there's something about Lukita where it was like this ease that she had. There wasn't much work she had to do to be that character. And if that's not true,
Yeah.
fooled us. So that was one of my favorite parts, the chem read. But yeah, that's my journey with how I got there. Just a simple audition and around the callbacks.
Well, when I was preparing for this interview, I thought I could do the whole conversation just about the scene in Sean's hospital room, like just unpacking that scene alone. How do you how do you prep for something like that that's like pure comedy in the midst of the show?
I had a conversation with Brett when we were shooting episode 2 on season 2. And he comes into the trailer and he's like, mate, Brett's like, I don't know if he is actually, but he'll almost give you the impression that he's shy, sometimes like reserved. But there's always this like mischief in his eyes. He's such a comedian. He
Yeah.
goes, mate, I've written you a scene, a real comedy scene, mate. And I want you to do it. I hope they keep it in. I hope they do. I'm like, it's your show. Who is they? Your name is like second, I think. Like, what? But he had made me laugh just telling me that he wrote one. And then he also told me he had wrote some dramatic stuff for Ted as Derek. So he had kind of had this vision of our characters doing the opposite thing that we were used to them doing. And I read it and I knew I was going to shoot it in like 2 weeks. And that's rare to have that much time to prep. So I researched on what kind of anesthesia I'd be under. and then like how that would affect me. And, all of the real stuff didn't really warrant the kind of reaction that this guy was having. But I pulled from my own personal experience, which is rare for me. I had a back issue when I was shooting my first TV show, Deadly Class, and I was prescribed T3s, which is opium.
Oh my
I'm,
God.
I'm somebody who, look, even stuff that has been recently made legal, I have resisted partaking in due to fear of altered states. If you're catching my drift. And I was like, I was off it, okay? And it was like a truth serum for me. So I went back to that experience and sort of pulled from how I communicated, how physically I moved, and kind of melded that with like general anesthesia. And then once I did like that sensory work, it was just saying the words. So the script was brilliant, but I did do my homework. I wanted to make sure, even though it was funny, it was real. I was in that makeup chair for hours and hours getting those prosthetics done. I had one on my leg as well. Shout out to the makeup team.
Yeah.
Corinne, Josh, everybody who worked on that. They were incredible. Christine, shout out to her. But I wanted to make sure I did as much work as they did. So I made sure to put in the work and the research. But what it came down to was just saying those words. It was already funny before I got there.
I mean, between that and Brian Michael's monologue, I mean, God, what an iconic season.
Yo, his double trouble. I'm gonna repeat this, but first I'm gonna say Peter Bernadette Peters. The second I'm gonna say Foster Sutton Foster. Oh, it filled me with so much joy.
I just recently saw him in Oh Mary, and that was thrilling for me. It was, he's just so great.
I'm so jealous. I haven't been able to go out. So you were in New York?
I was in August, I went to see him.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I saw his Once Upon a Mattress
I
last
saw
year.
that too. I did, yeah.
Incredible. He was incredible. That one came out to LA.
I saw it the day after I ran into you on that trip.
Oh, cool. I had seen it like a couple days before.
Yeah.
Around the same
Amazing.
same time. Yeah, it was exceptional. And I really think that guy is, we're lucky to have him. He would be doing whatever else otherwise.
Yeah, he's already doing his next Broadway show, Richard III. He's already moved on to that.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if this dude, it's a weird compliment, but I mean this in the highest regard. Other actors will know what I mean. If nobody hired this dude, he would be working at the highest level regardless. That's just who he is.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah, he would be doing it. He would be doing Tony-worthy theater performances on the streets of New York City. And it would be just as brilliant as any other Tony winner. He is exceptional.
So, okay, you filmed season 3. I know I've seen on Instagram, I think you finished filming. And then how did Abbott and when did Abbott come up? When did that role come into your life in kind of that time frame?
Yeah, because of the hiccups of the fires early in season 3, and then and this was press release, so I can share this. But yeah, Harrison came down with shingles. There were just a couple of production hiccups that prolonged our shoot, and we ended up wrapping like a month and a half after we had planned. So I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to be auditioning for the summer stuff like I normally am. And then an audition comes in for Abbott, which would be my second audition. I tell my wife about it and we go ape because we've been fans of Abbott since Abbott came out.
Yeah.
We've been fans of Quinta since he got money. We've been fans of Quinta since then and probably before, so we put the work in, and this tape, it came in on a Thursday, it was due on a Monday, and I was like, let's shoot it on Sunday. And she was like, hey, during this, you got to look at the camera. I was like, oh, well, I can't do that. She was like, it's Abbott. Yes, you can. She was like coaching me through the scene and everything. And yeah, we had a good time shooting it. And then I found out on Monday that they were checking to see like my availability and all that. And then by like the following Thursday, they were, okay, when is your costume fitting? I was like, what? Told my wife, I'm gonna be on Abbott. She lost it. Because it's really cool to be on the birth of a show of something like Shrinking. It's another thing to watch a show, be a fan of the show, and then watch the season 5 premiere of the show and be like, what is going on? They hired me to be on that show. So nothing but gratitude. But yeah, the audition came in and Quinta told me she she usually is kind of like, oh, those shrinking guys, like they're all busy. But when my tape came in, she was like, I forgot, like we shoot at different times. So they shoot in the fall, we shoot in the spring. So we had wrapped. So even if our production went a little longer on shrinking, I would have had the time. And also the part I think was something, I lucked out. I read for another part on that show, but it really wasn't right for me. I tried my best to be like a hood rat who wanted to fight with Gregory over his
Oh
son.
my gosh, that episode I remember. Yeah.
That gentleman, I've seen a lot of his work on TV and film. He's really funny and he killed it. So I'm like, there's nothing I can do in that regard. You just be grateful you can audition, but somebody's going to be better than you. But I think for Dominic, it was really it was kismet. It was the perfect part for me to join the show with.
Yeah, so Dominic is teaching the fourth grade, right?
Yup.
And we really haven't seen too much yet in the first episode because it was the back to school, team building and everything.
Development day, yeah.
But I mean, well, how would you describe him, his teaching philosophy, the energy he's bringing into the school?
Well, there's a couple things, and this is why I wanted to wait till after the premiere so we can actually discuss it. But there's a couple things about Dominic that set up pretty clearly in the first episode. The first one we can see is he admires Barbara a great deal. So there's a lot of who she is that he wants to emulate. A lot of who she is that when he was a student, he appreciated, or maybe he didn't, and then turned around and he was like, upon reflection, I really did appreciate that. But towards the end of the episode, you can see one of the characters kind of imagine taking Dominic under her wing, and that would be Janine. So Janine is talking about the teacher becoming the teacher, and she needs to get out of the sun and all that. But yeah, there's sort of an establishment of a mentor-mentee relationship. So I am under the impression that he's kind of reminding Janine of who she was when she first got here. He's chipper, he's happy to be here, he's grateful. And everybody's kind of tired of not ever getting enough money in this dang school. So what does that joy look like when it comes up against experience? And how is that collaboration going to look moving forward?
Yes, definitely. And I'm just really excited to see how you interact with the kids because even the casting of every single kid in that school is perfection. And getting to watch so many of the kids grow up through the years is just, I mean, maybe I know other shows will reuse kids like that, but it's different. It's magical.
It is. And when I talked to my wife about it, she's like, yo, I love everybody. Everybody on that show is brilliant. Those kids are the star of that show. And I would agree. I think they knew that coming in. They hired performers who knew when to like elevate these young stars. They're all future stars, I think. And I cannot confirm or deny whether or not I've begun collaborating with these young artists, but I can confirm my enthusiasm, and it is high.
Yeah, I mean, what was the first day like just walking onto that set? I mean, as you know, I talked to Lisa and Walter last week and
Yeah.
he raved about you and just how you've all embraced each other.
Yeah, I think they have something very unique in that they are running a tight ship. It is a factory over there, okay? It is all business, except they are the nicest human beings. I do not think that they have any sort of air about them that is, hey, yeah, we the biggest comedy on TV right now. No, it's just like the way we have become the biggest comedy is by repeatedly and consistently encouraging one another through our professionalism. They're warm, they're receptive, and we rap early. They move quick, and I love it. Every time I go there, it's like going to a playground with all of these awesome performers who all do different things well. Man, there's one performer there who I didn't recognize because she's so utterly different from who she is on the show. And that's Taylor. Taylor plays Tisha, who's kind of like the grumpy teacher with the cool curly hair.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize that it was her. And she's dressed in wardrobe. And I was like, oh yeah, so you're starting with me, right? She's like, no, I've been on here for a bit. I was like, what? Who do you play? She was like, oh, Tisha. And she's so utterly different from her character. I was like, oh my goodness. I didn't even recognize her. And she looked the same. So just surrounded by all these wonderful performers. And yeah, my first day was incredible. It was the first day that Dominic is introduced at the gym. So my first day and Dom's first day were one and the same. And it was really exciting.
Do you have any favorite past episodes or storylines, quotes, moments?
Okay. 2 quotes that are top just in comedy of all time, but in Abbott. It's the first one where Janine walks by and she says hi to one of her students, and the kid says, "I'll bet you are." Done. The next one, Mr. Eddie. Yes. I swallowed a watermelon seed. Do I have to go to the nurse? It depends. Did you also swallow a wet paper towel? Yes. Looks at the camera. Okay, let's go to the nurse. Bruh, when I first saw that, I had to pause the TV. My shorty and I was wheezing. We had to go back because too much at play was missing the story. That doubled over ribs aching. I feel cramps in my feet. LOL. ROFL laughing. It was just, that show was hilarious, man. I can't believe I get to be a part of it.
My favorite, I mean, I have so many, but one of them was the karaoke episode last year.
Oh, cut my life into pieces. Goodness gracious. Hey, you know what? Chris is another one because Chris Perfetti is cool. He is a cool cat. And he plays this sort of nerd. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh my gosh. I just think he's really fooling people into thinking that he's that of a goober. And he's not. Jason's like that too. Siegel always plays somebody who's not cool. But no, he'll walk on the set, with his coffee. He's so smooth and he makes people feel comfortable. He's one of those cool people who is so cool, you feel cool when you talk to him. Like you can never fumble your words and it be awkward. He'll like save it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Chris is like that too. He and Jason got that in common. I wonder what it would be like if they collaborate.
I saw Chris in his movie Twin List that just came out a few weeks ago.
By James Sweeney. I'm a big James Sweeney fan. I saw Straight Up a few years ago and thought it was one of the best underrated movies I had ever seen. So I can't wait to see Twin List. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, but like what you were just saying, he's not a nerd in that. I'm like, oh, I feel like this is actually him. He's very cool.
Yeah, Chris, he's cool. I mentioned that to him and he has smiled, like I was kind of on to him, but he's a real good actor. I don't know if he knows that I've seen, like I can see how much work he's doing down to every mannerism. It's exceptional to watch him do what he does, especially on that show Abbott. That is not him, but he makes you believe it is.
Well, if there were to be a karaoke episode in the future, what do you think Dominic would sing, or what would you enjoy singing?
For me, I might sing some Bill Withers. I might sing that one song by Michael McDonald, who we all thought was black, but he's a white dude, and bust down on that album. Which record was that? It was I keep forgetting, love it. Whichever has it. What's it called? I keep forgetting. That's what it's called. I'll probably sing that. Now, Dominic, I don't know. He's younger than I am. Dominic's a youngster, so he might sing something like more hip, something that's going viral on TikTok or something, That's if he could sing. But if he got admiration for Barbara, he probably will be able to sing.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them bonding over that for sure.
Yeah, and if Barbara's around, he'll probably want to sing something a little old school. So he might pull out some Luther Vandross or something like that,
Well, speaking about, Barbara mentoring him, who do you feel like has mentored you so far on Shrinking and Abbott? I mean, obviously everybody, but what are some maybe a favorite takeaway from anyone?
On Shrinking, and really not even in terms of career, it will probably be Ted. Ted is somebody who is like 25 years ahead of exactly where I want to be in my life. He's got kids who are grown. He loves his wife. He talks about her so much, and we share that in common. And I think his love for his wife and his respect for family is something that we share. And we are often discussing family life. Jason, on the other hand, is somebody who provides so many golden nuggets career-wise, and he knows he has a unique life, which is my favorite thing about him. He's not like, oh, I'm normal. He's not. He's a movie star. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody goes through 15 years of being on top of comedy box office talking about something I'm normal. He understands that. He respects that. And it makes it really easy to talk to him because there's no like mystification about that. Also, he worked very hard to get there. So I'd say probably Ted and Jason. And then on Abbott, I've only been on there for a couple of episodes, but I can tell you this, and this is true, I think for everybody who joins the show, Quinta, who is checking off costumes, who is making sure everybody's wardrobe is on point, who is show running and writing and rewriting and doing alts and performing the lead on the show, will always come and sit next to me and check in every single day I'm performing. She
Wow.
always comes, takes a seat next to me. We have a 2 to 3 minute conversation. She checks in on me, asks about my wife, about my kid. I don't know how she does it. And then she remembers too. She's like, "Oh, how's Marty Lou?" I'm like, "Yo, I don't even know how you remember my name, let alone my daughters who you never met." So she's definitely a very unique quarterback in that she somehow creates a pocket dimension where she has more time to come and check in on little old me while she's doing everything. So respect to all of those people.
Well, just real quick before we wrap up, I wanted to do some lightning round Abbott questions, but you can use shrinking characters as well, just whoever you think fits the answer for these.
Great. This is gonna be fun for me.
Okay. Who knows your coffee order?
Liz.
Who makes the best playlists?
Alice.
Who is most like their character on either show?
Ted.
Who
Easy.
who is least like their character?
Chris Perfetti.
Yeah. Who on either show would you love to do a spinoff with?
Tyler James Williams.
That would be amazing. Oh my gosh. Um, this was for Lisa, but I'll ask you, who would you put on Dancing with the Stars?
Me. We were just watching it last night. If I am on Dancing with the Stars, my wife will love me eternally.
That would be wow. Yeah.
I'm praying she already does love me eternally, but we're gonna add some extra eternities in there if I'm on Dancing with the Stars and go the distance. I'm
What
not
type,
bad, so
what type of dance do you think you would thrive in the most on that?
waltz.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I would love to see that.
Me
Uh,
too.
okay, who is most likely to start a dance party on set?
Randall Winston is not a cast member, but he's a director, and he has and does that constantly. So shout out to him.
And does anyone have a hidden talent that surprised you?
You know what? Lukita's really good at singing and playing guitar.
I've seen some of the stuff she's posted. Yeah, I'm like, wow, she really does everything.
A very multi-talented individual.
And I just saw her in God, what J. Crew, I think, in their new
And
ad
she's in J.
campaign.
Crew,
Yeah,
obviously,
like she's a supermodel.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yep.
Well, this has been such a fun interview. As you obviously know, I'm just the biggest fan of both Abbott and Shrinking, consumes all of my brain space alongside Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, thank you. It's a high honor to be placed next to the GGs on the shelf. So thank you.
They're all my comfort rewatch shows, and I feel like they always will be.
Happy to join the ranks.
Well, hopefully we talk again for Shrinking when the season comes out, but very excited to see the rest of Abbott.
Thanks so much, Ashley. I appreciate it. It's been real cool chatting with you.
Have a great day. I'll talk to you later.
You too. Bye
All
bye.
right. Thanks.